Hello, everyone. I am the Nightwalker, and tonight we're going to review the 2016 film Shut In, starring Naomi Watts. Now, Naomi Watts is actually no stranger at all to the horror genre, even though she's known as a really name actress in Hollywood. But you think about it. I mean, most of the movies she's very well known for are horror, or have horror elements to them. Of course, she's known for the Ring movies. She's known for King Kong, which is basically a creature feature. She's known for, even though it's not exactly categorized as a horror film, but Mulholland Drive definitely has horror elements to it. She was in Children of the Corn 4, which is one of the better sequels in the Children of the Corn series. And then there's this movie. Now, this is a PG-13 horror film, and I know people are going to be like, dude, of all the horror films you could review, you're going to do one that's PG-13. But I found this movie a little bit more interesting. There's a little bit more to it than meets the eye. And that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about this one. Now, there's going to be some spoilers. So if you're not interested in hearing that, you may want to go ahead and turn the video off, or if you're just not interested at all. But anyway, the story is it's pretty interesting for what it is. The story is about Mary Portman, who Naomi Watts plays the character here, and her husband. They're having a tough time with her stepson Stephen, played by Charlie Heaton, who people are going to remember. He plays Jonathan on the show Stranger Things. Well, they're having a tough time with him, and things are not going very well. So they decide they want to go ahead and send him off to kind of like a school where he can be kind of calm down and get a hold of himself. And he's not very happy with this. And so the husband, they're talking, and are we doing the right thing? And the husband tells her, yeah, we don't have any other choice, so he gets in the car and they start driving. And Mary, we find out that Cherry, sorry, Mary is actually a child psychologist, and she works with children, helping them. Well, meanwhile, while her husband and Stephen are driving, they start having an argument, and Stephen is upset because they're sending him away, and he doesn't want to go away. He wants to stay with them, and the husband's like, well, we need a break, and Stephen, he's like, I don't want a break. So they start fighting, and everything else in the car ends up colliding into a truck. Now, months pass. We find out that Mary's husband died in the accident, and Charlie is pretty much left as invalid. And so now her day to day operation is pretty much she gets up, she takes care of him, she, she's bathing him, she's feeding him, she's cleaning him, she's doing everything for him, and he's not moving. He doesn't seem like he's responding particularly well. And meanwhile, she's also trying to work with other children, and one boy in particular she's having trouble with, and she's wanting to work with him even more. And the mother decides, no, it's we're going to go ahead and send him to a special place where he can be taken care of and things like that. And so she's upset. She's upset. She really wanted to try to work with this child, and she has a colleague played by Oliver Platt that she confides in, and they're talking and things. And so you know people are telling her, she's coming to the point she can't really deal with having to take care of Stephen anymore. She's she's having fantasies in her mind about like drowning him in the tub, or just leaving him outside in the cold. Where they're at is very cold. As a matter of fact, you can see the snow is coming in, and as a matter of fact, they're talking about there's a big blizzard coming in. And um, to complicate matters as well, the father of one of the children that she works with is really wanting to take her out on a date, and at first she refuses. But then everybody's kind of like, yeah, we understand that you love your husband, but you need to move on. You need to you know try to get some fun out of life. And so she decides, okay, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. And so she starts, well, they don't really start like dating, super dating or anything, but she invites him over to her house. She cooks dinner for him, and they have a nice talk. And she's revealing to people that she wants to go ahead and send Stephen to a place where he can be taken care of, a mental health facility. And at one point, the little boy that she really wanted to work with comes back to her home, And she's talking to the mother, and yeah, maybe it'd be better if I just keep him here with me for a couple of days till we can get him sorted out. He can go back home and things. And the mother agrees. And at one point, it seems like the little boy ran off. It seems like he disappeared and nobody knows where he went. And, the snow is coming and Mary is completely freaking out because she doesn't want the boy out there freezing to death. And, it's a big blizzard and they're going to be shut off. They're going to be isolated and they're going to be, for days without electricity, for days without this, without that. So everybody's got to prepare. And Mary's not too particularly worried about this because, she's like, well, don't worry about it. This isn't our first time we've had, big blizzards and stuff like that. And so as the snow gets ready to start to come down, the father, the one that's interested in taking her out on a date, he comes along and asks her, me and my son, we're going to hunker down in one of the motels in town. We really suggest the two of you come with us. And Mary, she's like, no, it's okay. We've been through these situations before. The two of us can just ride it out here. We'll be all right. We got enough wood. We got everything we need. We can stay warm. We'll be okay. And so, um, at one point, she's talking to Oliver Platt's character about how she's not sleeping well. She's having these, bad thoughts and everything else. She's talking about sending him away, sending Stephen away. And so he decides he's going to prescribe her some medicine. And so he tells her, before I prescribe you anything, what I need you to do, I need you to go ahead and send me, your blood work and everything so we can test it because I don't want to prescribe anything for you that's going to be harmful. And so she does. And then he gets the results back. And then now pretty much right by now, everything's getting ready. The snow's coming. They're pretty much shut off. Um, all this other kind of stuff. There's really nowhere she can go. She's shut in, pretty much. She can't really do much. So anyway, so he comes back to her and he tells her that you've been taking these horrible drugs and everything else, and it's like it seems like these are the drugs that are prescribed for your son, and you don't know you of all people should know how dangerous these drugs could be, and she's talking about I haven't been taking any drugs. I don't know what you're talking about, and then the power goes off. And then so she decides she's going to go ahead and try to turn the power back on. And while she's doing this, Oliver Platt, he's on the computer because they're talking via Skype. And so, he's like trying to, he's like, Mary, Mary. And then he sees a shadow move and he's like, oh my God. So basically, kind of Dick Halloran style from The Shining, he gets in his car and decides he's going to go and try to see if he can get to her because he knows that she's in danger. Well, so meanwhile, she's trying to, get some light in the house. She's, lighting the lanterns and, looking for flashlights and batteries and things like that. And then she comes across her stepson, Stephen. And he's moving, something she never saw before, something she had no idea could happen. And basically, he takes her down, not kill her, but he's able to, subdue her. And then this is where I think the movie gets pretty interesting to me, is because it's even though it's PG-13, this seems like this is more like R-rated material. And so she wakes up, she's naked in the tub, and she's tied up, and so yeah. So if you're hoping you're going to see a lot of Naomi Watts nudity, no, I think the most you see is maybe her butt. But if you want to see Naomi Watts's butt, it's good for that. But anyway, so she wakes up in the tub and he's washing her, and of course she's completely freaked out by this, and she wants to know what's going on, and he's telling her that he's taking care of her the way she's taking care of him, but he's upset because she's getting ready to send him away. He's upset because even though the little boy is actually still alive, the little boy that came to her house because he didn't want to go back to his mom, but he's still alive and he's hiding in the house. And Stephen is basically telling her, I'm bound and determined I'm going to kill this child. This child came between us. You gave him my room. It seems like you care more about this child than you do me. And he reveals that he purposefully caused the car accident that killed his father because he is absolutely incredibly just nuts about her. And well, it is Naomi Watts, so I guess you know it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but it's still pretty creepy. But it's like Naomi Watts, he's completely just nuts about her. So like I said, it makes some degree of sense. But he's absolutely nuts about her. He can't stand the thought of being away from her. He, doesn't want to be away from her even for a second. It turns out he's that's the thing though. It's like it's never really explained in the movie if he's, if it's just because he it's not really explained. Like, is he in love with her? Is he just wanting her to continue the mother son relationship dynamic that they got going on? Is he hoping that she would make it more of? I mean, it's not particularly incest or anything like that because in the story, it's like he's her stepson, so he's not her biological son. But just the fact he cannot stand to be away from her, he does not want to be away from her. No ifs, ands, or buts, and he will. He's admitting he will do whatever it takes to keep her from sending him away, and he wants to be with her. Come hell or high water, he wants to be with her. So, um, yeah. So, and she finds out that he's actually been slipping some of his drugs into her food, into her drinks, and he's been basically kind of doping her up, and so, which he does again, he forces a pill down her throat and he tells her that, she's going to pretty much sleep and he's going to go take care of everything, which means he's going to go find the child, which is hiding in the house, and he's going to murder the child. Of course, she can't allow this to happen. She's able to get free. She gets out of the tub and she's able to throw up the pill so, it doesn't affect her. She does get, she's able to get dressed. And then, we have you're into the third act now, so you have the two of them fighting, and she's doing everything she can to try to save the little boy, and even at some points, as a matter of fact, like Oliver Platt's character comes in, and like I said, Dick Halloran from The Shining style, he comes in, you think he's going to save the day, but ultimately he gets killed. Just before he dies, though, he tells Mary that that to make him think that the last thing she wants to do is get rid of him, that she wants to keep him around and she loves him unconditionally, which, she does. But she still uses it to try to get away from him and try to get the little boy safe. And, she's faced with a difficult decision because, they're outside, the snow is coming down, there's nowhere for them to go. They have, they're at this lakeside house and, the little boy is trying to get away. There's a raft and Steven jumps onto the raft and he's trying to strangle the well actually he knocks the little boy into the water and he's trying to drown the boy, and just as he's getting ready to she finds a claw hammer that he had, and she whacks him good in the head with it, and so yeah, um, Steven ends up dying, so she kills him to save the little boy. Then at the end of the story, the little boy, Mary takes him to she takes him. She plans to adopt him and care for him as her own. Um, the only thing is though, it's like I kind of wonder. I don't know if it was meant to be this way intentionally, or if it was just happenstance. But I kind of wonder if at the end of this movie, I wonder if the idea is like the circle could it could go on. The circle could repeat itself, and this could happen again. That she would have another boy who would become just a little too infatuated with her, a little too clingy, and want her and never want to leave her, and he would end up going psycho as well. But like I said, this movie there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye, and I mean, yeah, if you're looking for gore and stuff, this movie's definitely going to disappoint you. But honestly, it's a good, it's good for suspense. It's good for thrills. And like I said, it's got a couple of interesting little twists and turns, all of which I just told you. So, which is why at the beginning of the video, I said, if you didn't want to hear it, you'd probably be better if you turned the video off. But anyway, though, yeah, I recommend Shut In. Naomi Watts, her performance alone makes it worthwhile. She's good in I mean, the woman is incredibly talented. Not just stunningly beautiful, but she is incredibly talented. She's good in just about everything she does. And if you like stuff like The Ring and everything else, you're going to like this kind of a thing. it kind of gives you the feeling that it could be supernatural, but ultimately we find out it's more of a human horror film. But anyway, I say give it a shot. Like I said, if you like the Ring movies, you like Naomi Watts, this is a good film to watch. And yeah, pretty good stuff. It turned out a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. I really did. I thought it was going to be just kind of humdrum and not much to it. But if you're in the mood for a good suspenseful horror film, I say give it a look. See, so anyway, that's going to do it. If anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. And I appreciate you for doing it. I want to welcome you to my new channel, Horror Heaven 77, and you know, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. There'll be weekly videos posted. And until then, take care. And if I see you around walking at night, I might run into you. So bye bye.